Hi friends, how are you? It is so weird for me right now because my heater is not running because it's just not that cold tonight because it's been a great warm day and it's just throwing me off. Anyway, that's not important. Let's keep, okay. Hi friends, it has been a wonderfully warm day. I've actually had the windows open in my room, got to walk out not actually wearing a coat. In fact, this was even too warm earlier today. Tonight I needed it. And to the point where I don't actually have to run my heater right now, my room heater. I might check and see what the weather brings the next few days, but oh my gosh. Okay, so some announcements. Don't skip it, these are kind of important. First of all, nothing related to my show. If you're in the States, and depending on the state that you live in, because I know Arizona does not participate in a couple other states, Spring Forward takes place around 2 a.m. on Sunday the 14th. So remember, we lose an hour of sleep, but we gain an hour of daylight. So that's great because it has been miserable this winter. It's been so rainy and so snowy for a lot of us, which is great, but also at the same time, as rain and depression shoots up during this time of year, and warm weather and sun, I'm just like, today was a day I was like, I am so ready for spring. I think all of us are. Also, congratulations to those states like Texas and Alabama and quite a few others that have continued to not do a statewide mask mandate. I'm sure there's individual cities, stuff like that. I'm sure it changed from city to city because some populations just don't need it. And while some might, depending, well, I have my opinions on masks, but that's not the point of this video. So congratulations to you guys. I wish I lived in your states. Okay. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Now, moving on to the actual channel. Again, today will only be episode 11. There will be no episode 12 or 13. 12 or 13 will be posted together next week. And then the week after that, I will be posting the OVA. And then the first episode of A Place Farther Than the Universe, which is a fun, all-girls kind of, let's go to the Antarctic, or is it just Arctic, and see penguins kind of slice of life. I've heard it's not super angsty, but it's not as fluffy and laid back as Laid Back Camp. Laid Back Camp should be probably almost over by now. So remember, when we're either right after or partway through A Place Farther Than the Universe, we'll be doing Laid Back Camp, which is really, really fun. Season 2, of course, obviously. So just wait for those. And soon I'm going to be sending in my little, like, hey, can you release your block from my video because there's no sound. And there's like no image on it. So I need to type up something professional and get it sent in because the fact that it was blocked is just asinine. It just makes no sense. You can't tell what the frick you're looking at, really. But that's because Molebeat's a jerk. But that's part of the reason why I kind of like, oh, let's wait to actually react, because maybe the copyright monsters won't be as active. And also, I don't want to be a source of piracy, really. That's stuff in my pocket. But yeah, that's all the announcements for that. Now, someone actually told me that My Hero Academia comes back at the end of March, not May. So that's going to be interesting, because we're still going to be in Assassination Classroom by then. And I'm doing Mob Psycho 100 right after. So, again, I still haven't made a decision. I know I'm going to wait a few weeks to post my My Hero Academia videos, but so far I haven't really been bothered all that much by the copyright monsters for videos that don't have any sound or image from them. So I might be okay there, but at the same time I might just hold off again a couple weeks afterwards. And of course, there's some live action stuff that I need to catch up on. This week, I would say, is my spring break, but at the same time, I'm trying to get ahead in schoolwork, so it's going to be, I've been wasting a little bit too much time, too much sleeping in. So, I need to get my stuff together this week, which just seems to be the story I always say, is get organized. Anyway, nothing else to say. Again, we're just going to dive right in. If you're watching on YouTube, there's no sound. partial image, partial fuzzy image, keeps the copyright monsters at bay, at least for this anime anyway. And yeah, but if you want to follow along, you can. As a countdown timer, you can't miss it. And without further ado, let's dive in. So I'd like to see if this picks up right where we left off, or is this some time? And I'm going to assume there's going to be some time passing. I'm a little far from the mic today, so I might be a little quiet. Sorry about that. I'll try to project. This confirms she does live there. I gotta work on my whistle. Probably because of money, and that tends to be how it goes. She's right, that is true. There are people who love fighting and love war and love destruction. Ooh, but you could said Violet for Miss Ford North Soldier. Oh, she just disappeared. Did she just... Oh my gosh, did she just leave and not tell him? Can't Menace, that's a name. He is a sweetheart, of course. So are these the moderates? Got the intro. Okay. So it'll be an intense episode, but usually if there's no intro, it's gonna be like a kind of episode. But not that I can relax in this show, but I feel like I can relax a little bit. I can talk. So we do see that in history that a lot of times civil wars break out immediately after other wars because of money issues, because of, you know, extremists they usually push the blame on somebody and end up causing a lot of problems. The moderates usually don't do anything. The fact that the moderates are kind of pushing back is good. Usually we're kind of too apathetic, actually. It's usually extreme against extreme, and then the poor moderates in the middle going, frick is going on? But I mean, that was part of the reason why France had its sort of, you know, civil war, so to speak, or cultural war, however you want to view the original French Revolution, where because of money issues, there's some other, you know, people came in and started just killing people. It was pretty bad. But then there was also, we saw in the American Civil War that the governments of the South wanted to keep what made them the most money, which was slavery at the time. And the North was trying to, you know, the president was trying to destroy end slavery, and there's a lot of things going on. She stole it, she went. Ooh, she took it? Oh, she took it. So she's gonna be gone for maybe even... She's gonna be gone for like a whole month, or part of a month, majority of a month. Maybe a week to get there, by boat and other ways. Dang! Does she not have any winter coats? Someone mentioned that she doesn't quite feel physically to a degree. But I'm wondering if she's doing this to try to make up for what she did all those years ago. And because she has that that anxiety. I think it's a sign of her having anxiety. She's trying to calm it down. Leidenschaftlich. Oh, he gave her a coat. That's very nice of him. Mm. Again, riling up people and causing problems. Again, we can see her motions through her hands first. Love this. Just trying to make up for what she's done. Good grief, that girl is hardcore. Ooh, the winds around mountains are dangerous. I think he recognizes her resolve. That's why she came to them, because they have a plane. So weird to hear her spiel on her dress like that. No matter what she wears, she's still cute as a button. Dangerous as all get out, but cute as a button. Gosh, it's gonna be a rough episode though. He's got a girl, which makes me worried about him that he's gonna die. So I was gonna say someone's about to get hit. That would be the commander. I was waiting for the little guy. Got a sniper out there. Boom. Way to be unstable, sir. Dang. I mean, just by looking at him, you could tell the guy was a little bit unstable, and just compared to the others. I'm gonna say, ooh, carry him, carry him, carry him, carry him. Some of you might be wondering, why didn't he just shoot? But because he's looking through a sniper scope, and any slight movement he does could completely change the trajectory of the bullet. Oh gosh, they're picking him off. They got the little guy. Dang. This is a rough episode. Told you, there's no light episode. Oh, he's a sitting duck. Gosh darn it. It's a bad shot. I mean, it's a bad shot for him. Dang. Oh. Dang. Girl, she doesn't jump out of that freaking plane. Oh, he's still alive. Oh, you know why he might still be alive? And it might have to do with the cold. Kind of, you know, usually it kills them, but sometimes it slows down the bleeding. You bleed faster when you're warmer. Ooh, they're nasty. I thought he was dead. I'm kind of glad he's not. Whoa! Dang. Not quite. I mean, yes, she's a child. Woo! She kind of let go pretty early. Dang. Dang. She hurt them but didn't kill them. Which shows how she's kind of changed. Did he encounter her? The soldier maiden and the lighting shot. I can't say. Talk about cowards. Okay, this is going a direction not expecting. We're getting a flashback in how he met Maria. Oh, our little guy. It makes sense that he, the littlest guy, would be the runner because he's so light. He can move so much more quickly than the bigger guys. That sucks that we see them die and we get to learn about them. It's kind of painful. He kind of went around all the posters. Looks a little bit like Catalina to a point. She's taking care of him. Gosh darn, I don't even know if he's gonna survive. How did she find that? Good for her. He has an infection. But also he might have a fever. Yeah. Blood loss, probably infections coming in. Its fever has set in. Interesting. That's a very different reaction. She's so cool. She does have a great memory. Interesting because this plays on not only her mind but muscle memory where there is no muscle. But it's sinking into her brain. We can, with a few exceptions, we've seen enough. There's been a lot of only childs in a lot of these families. Which I suppose if you're kind of, but some of these kids were born pre-war, so it's interesting. I would expect more kids from lower income families. Yeah, he's going. He ain't gonna make it at the end of this episode. Oh, look at the animation. You can see how dry his lips are. Dang, that little detail there. Jeez. Again, I really do appreciate the use of the music. A lot of it's kind of has a Celtic feel to it. Sometimes it has like a more of a Germanic feel. She gave him her handkerchief as a favor. But like I said, yeah, you like her. So this is a little bit different than what Iris kind of dealt with, in the fact that Maria's feelings were reciprocated, but he went off at kind of a bad timing. Again, the fact that he's just exhausted, the dryness of his lips, the dark circles under his eyes. So many families experience that. Her fingers aren't moving though, which is interesting. It's a good thing she found him. He didn't die. Yeah. Oh gosh, he's envisioning seeing her again. He said, "I love you." Still a heartbreaker. Oh, she kissed him on the forehead. That's so sweet. So that moment when the camera blurs, that was our moment when he passes away. His eyes went. Because usually, I think when you die, typically your eyes cloud over briefly. Depending if they were like, well, they cloud over because they dry out because they're open. Oh, his are closed though. Or she closed them. That's painful. I was wondering why we brought up the whole Civil War thing, what the purpose was. Oh, she buried him. That's what that signifies. You know, if he had a hat, she would have put it on top of it too. There she is. How are you gonna get up in the plane? Doesn't have a coat. Like, the company sent a letter to them. To the family. And Maria. That's a heartbreaking letter. Oh my gosh. Harvest time. Fall. You see her breath. Oh gosh. Look at her hands, how they're kind of reddish. Oh gosh, that's painful. I could see reddish from her working in the field. Again. Oh, and her eyes too. A lot of times you do see emotion in her eyes and mouth right shortly after around her hands or at the same time. But she tries to hold it in. It's getting harder for her to hold it in. Honey, don't look away, baby girl. Ooh, her face. Gosh, darn it. Okay. Ooh. Now we see her break. In her eyes, she got there too late. Dang. Ooh. Tell this episode I don't want anyone else to die. I thought I was safe. Nope. Okay. Okay. But we see as each episode has gone on that Violet is learning to feel her emotions more and more and more. That there she was trying to hold back. As soon as the mom conked her, she was done. Again, we still see the consistency of her hand. The first place we see her emotion is her hands, which again I thought is very cool. And then we see it in her eyes and her mouth, the way that. But then we're seeing more. But again, usually her emotions pop up suddenly and they're surprised. But now they're kind of seeping out more and more. And as she's beginning to emotionally mature. I mean, we saw that with the soldiers. She didn't kill any of them. She just subdued them. Which also, again, is cool because it's also a reminder that Violet is still kick butt. And she still has all those skills that she was as a soldier. But now she's pushing those energies in other ways. And yeah, you know, she's traveling now, meeting more people. It's not as action-packed as the war. But still a good episode. Okay. Let's talk about that episode. Well, wasn't expecting to cry this episode, but I think I've given up on that. I'm probably gonna cry the next two too as well. Maybe the OVA. Eventually I will get to the movies, but I'm gonna hold off on those for special occasion. I really appreciate this series, and what's great about it is I'm trying to remember what series I was watching as Anime Thursday series before this. I think I took a break. I can't remember. Even though anime, oh no, it's Your Lie in April, which is still a sad anime. Longer one, but still a sad one. Which is nice that I'm going to be diving into a place further than the universe, which is way more happier than this one and not as heavy. This is definitely not slice of life. This is heavy. But I liked this episode because, oh gosh, what do I like about this episode? Well, I do appreciate these little moments where you see that his lips were dry and chapped, and then all they did was do little itty bitty lines, but that was just enough for us to be able to go, oh, his lips are dry and they're chapped. Makes sense, it's winter. He was shot to the side, which is a meaty part, and because it was cold, he wasn't bleeding out as fast. So it, but thankfully somehow she was able to get to him, but in her mind she didn't get there fast enough. No, he'd been laying in the snow for a little bit. It looks like they had to come up and down, and it looked like they were going through, and any survivors, they were just downright killing them. So you can see very much an evil and a cruelty to them. And also a cowardiceness, considering they didn't even bother to fight. But he was like, we're gonna go. So, you know, they hunt in packs. That's what they do. Picked them off one by one. That's what happens in war, but still. It is kind of rough. I mean, we didn't get to see too much of the other characters, and the way they were by the trees, and the way they kept poking out, I was like, someone's gonna get hit. I thought it was Little Guy. Little Guy did get hit, but we didn't see the hit per se, which I guess because he is so little and kind of like sweet that we kind of spared that. Of course, the leader, which moving out from behind the tree with his back to it was the stupidest thing he could have done. They should have stayed more hidden. They weren't very well hidden. But I guess they didn't see anyone. They just assumed. Never assume that no one sees you. So there's that. Jeez Louise. And we didn't even get to really fully hear what her full letter was. But odds are these were one of those letters where she did exactly what he said. And she wasn't able to bring the body back. Who knows? She buried him. So when they say thank you for bringing her son back, she doesn't have him alive. She doesn't have his body. But the fact that she brought his words back and his final thoughts of them to them is a way of bringing them closure. And, you know, Maria will move on and she'll find a new love and life moves on. And who knows if those parents will ever be able to have more kids. They look a little bit older. And Aiden's quite up in years-ish, so they might have been able to only have one. Usually more lower, especially farm families, have multiple kids, so it is odd that we haven't encountered too many big families. We see a lot of big cousins. The only person we've encountered that has a sibling has been Luculia. No one else seems to have siblings, with the obvious exception of Gilbert and his brother. Everyone seems to be only children. Of course, there's more. We don't know if Gilbert has siblings or if Catalia does or did, or we don't. Now, it makes sense. Like I said, it makes sense for some of the more rich individuals to have lots of kids. But even then, they still try to have multiple kids because the survival rate was so low. Survival rate did improve over the years, especially. I'm going to put this between the late 1800s and. With vehicles, we're definitely in the I would assume, kind of parallel to us, 1940s, 30s. Again, I'm comparing it more so to just how everything is maybe post-World War I, so there's definitely vehicles there. There's some aspects that have more of a World War II feel, so, I don't know, give or take. Givesy takesies. I lost my train of thought. But bringing those letters back did allow them closure, and in their mind, and she's so confused, like, I didn't bring him back, he's dead. I mean, she didn't even bring back his body. So again, she's kind of confused, because she knows I failed, I didn't bring him back. So she failed as a soldier, and that's probably what she's thinking in her mind, even though she's not a soldier anymore. But it is nice that, again, what's great about this series, and I think what some modern episodic series sometimes have failed in, or at least with, not modern per se, but like with Wonder Woman, the TV series that I'm reviewing right now for Retro React, is that episodic is fine, and we get it, like each episode's different in moments, but what's great is that throughout the series, we're seeing Violet change and grow, and, you know, and learn it, and deal with other things. And yes, sometimes for heavier series, you can do that more so than the kind of maybe lighter ones, but even with episodic shows, it's still important for your main characters to grow and to learn to a degree at least. I think part of the frustration I had with the live action Wonder Woman series is that we see that a little bit in that in season 1, even less of it in season 2. We don't see any of that in season 3. Diana doesn't really undergo much changes at all. There's really no overarching connection for her emotionally, for Steve emotionally. Everything's so random that you can watch the episodes out of order and it doesn't even freaking matter. So, which I guess is great about episodic episodes, but it's still nice when you see the characters, again, grow and change. And that's very important. And we're seeing that with Violet. What's also interesting with Violet is that this would be an idea of her being disobedient, actually. If she was a soldier, she would be disobeying orders because he did not send her out. She went on her own and stole the paper. So, and she's usually a good soldier. She listens. So we get to see a little bit more of her own agency kind of coming through even more so, because she wasn't given orders. She's like, I'm going to do this. And I'm not going to tell anyone so they can't stop me. So, which is interesting. I love that moment. There's not much else to say. Of course, the animation was great. Oh my gosh, Violet's so kick-butt. She's so cool. But there are moments where you're like, oh, she is so young. I keep forgetting that. And, you know, Soldier Maiden and just, oof, there's so much more. Good episode. Wasn't expecting to cry. I was hoping to have a bit of a reprieve this episode. No. Again, that's all I got to say. Next episode, next reaction day, we'll have, Anime Thursday, we'll have 12 and 13 back to back, or at least the same day, if not posted back to back. And then the week after that, we'll have the OVA, and then the first episode of A Place Farther Than the Universe. When I'll ever get to the movies, we'll see. I'm always hesitant with movies because they take so long. There's a lot more to it, so I do want to react to them eventually, but I'm not going to say any dates until I can actually fit it into my schedule. Other than that, nothing else to say. Solid episode, nothing to complain about whatsoever. There's just, just so many moments, just like the horrors of war, and kind of with the bloodlust we see in those men that were killing the soldiers, because, you know, odds are a lot of the main soldiers died, and so now we see these soldiers who are just filled with bloodlust, who wanted something to do and didn't have a purpose, and decided we're gonna cause war again because we don't have a purpose. Probably we see why these more younger individuals like Aiden and the other guy and a few others, because they probably weren't in the original war, but then they signed up to help with the Civil War. Then we have the nutso there with the long hair and the unshaven beard, unkempt beard, who seems a little bit like he's definitely exhausted and scarred over by war, and probably was glad it was over, and then got pulled back in again, and just was like desperate and lost his mind there, and that's why he was firing and screaming, which helps nobody. Which only helped confirm exactly where they were to really destroy them with that shell. So there's a lot of other elements at play, and just different things, and that they really also, the full fledged of fear that fills somebody when you're in the middle of war was just very palpable, especially in a young man who had not experienced war before and did have something to live for outside of the war, outside of fighting, and that sucks, and it's painful, and it's true to life, for sure. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies, and I'll see you next time.